Hey guys, I'm just here to give you another what you need to know video, and this one is about the Lightning Thief Chapter 2. So, Chapter 2 is called Three Old Ladies That Knit Socks of Death. So first thing you probably noticed is that the chapter titles are really interesting and funny a lot of times, but they also have something to do with either what's coming up or what's going to actually happen in this particular chapter. So we'll get to the three old ladies in a minute, but in chapter 2, Percy is really struggling because he had the whole experience with Mrs. Dodds, and he has found that nobody is willing to admit that it happened. He does mention that Grover is the only one that can't fool him. Grover seems to remember what happened, but is refusing to admit that it happened. So he kind of goes through this bad period where he's getting in a lot of trouble. His grades are going down. He basically calls his English teacher a bad name, and he gets expelled from ENT Academy. So he gets to finish out the year, but now he's going to have to find a new school to go to in the fall. Which is fine by him because he actually can't wait to be home. He's just not really sure what's going to happen in the future. So he is preparing for his Latin test, one of his final exams, and he overhears Mr. Brunner and Grover having a conversation about him and using a lot of words and phrases that he doesn't understand. Things like they're calling him a kindly one. What else did they say? They talk about the summer solstice. So he's really confused as to what's happening. And then when he goes back to his dormitory and sees Grover, Grover pretends that it never happened. So he has a really hard time during his test, and he feels really discouraged. And Mr. Brunner makes him feel even worse by telling him he's not normal, which you'll see what that means momentarily. But Mr. Brunner was actually trying to cheer him up and assure him that being unnormal was okay, but it didn't work out well. So as they're heading home for the summer, the bus that he's on breaks down, and they happen to see the three old ladies on the side of the road. So it says there are three old ladies sitting in rocking chairs, knitting the biggest pair of socks I've ever seen. And they're staring at him, and Grover keeps saying, "Oh my gosh, tell me they're not staring at you. This is horrible. This is really bad." And he's talking to himself, and Percy has no idea what's going on. Percy does see one of the old women snip a piece of yarn from the sock. And he asks Grover at the very end of the chapter, does that mean somebody is going to die? And Grover just kind of gives him a look like, yeah, he never says anything, but the implication is someone's going to die. And that's how the chapter ends. So what I want you to know about the three old ladies is they are actually based in Greek mythology. They're called fates. So the word fate means destiny, or what's going to happen in the future to you. The fates in Greek mythology were basically three spirits, I guess you could say, who determined the course of human history. And the yarn in the sock knitting was actually part of that too. One of them had the yarn or the string, and it was called the thread of humanity. And then another one, if they cut the line, basically meant that someone was going to die. So this is a lot of foreshadowing, which means something's going to happen in the future, and this is foreshadowing that somebody may die. So you're going to learn more about the fates in the next chapter. The next chapter is called Grover Accidentally Loses His Pants. So again, funny chapter names. You'll learn more about the fates, but just keep this in mind because a lot of the chapters in this book end with kind of a cliffhanger or something that's foreshadowing what's going to happen next. So sometimes the questions I'll ask will have to do with that as well. All right, so that's what you have to know for Chapter 2. I hope you guys are doing okay, and I will talk to you later. Bye.